Orchard Park, New York, Tiki What Rain. They do not care. Bills Mafia in full throat today.
I expected nothing less than what I'm seeing right now. A disastrous weather day and 75,000 Bills fans standing strong with their parkas on, ponchos and everything else.
And you know they will be ready to give it to the rookie. Davis Mills out of Stanford, a third-round pick. Has one relief appearance against Cleveland, a start last week against Carolina. 6 quarters in the NFL and now facing a Buffalo defense.
And he didn't really have that many quarters in college at Stanford. Only 11 starts in his career at Stanford. So this is effectively his 13th start in organized football since he left high school.
Out of the pistol with Mark Ingram behind him. And they'll go play action out of the gate. Good push up front as a flag flies. Mills will run for a few yards and scoot out of bounds. But it looks like a hold will be coming and bringing this back.
Yeah, that was a good job by Davis Mills, just trying to extend the play and make something happen. Unfortunately, his left guard, Titus Howard, is going to be called for holding Star Lotulelei.
Holding. Offense, number 71. 10-yard penalty. First down.
Ronald Torbert, our official today.
We got a little WWE going on out here as he smashes him to the ground. All he's got to do is put his shoulders down. He's going to pin him.
Well, it's a big challenge. They're all first-round draft picks. Ed Oliver and Greg Rousseau just recently. The 4-2-5 alignment for the Buffalo D on 1st and 20. And they'll try and run it with Philip Lindsay. They've got 3 all-pro running backs trying to get something cooking.
Well, they're going to have to rely on the run, especially with this inclement weather coming down on Davis Mills. He hasn't thrown a lot of passes in the NFL, but they have really good running backs, as we can see up front for the Houston Texans. You mentioned Mark Ingram, Philip Lindsay, David Johnson as well.
3 plays, and all 3 running backs have already shown, as David Johnson is now in there. Mills lost the handle, a slippery football, and he's able to get back on it. And the weather already having an impact.
His eyes were taken away from his target because Matt Milano was shooting the gap, got him a little bit off kilter. He bangs into David Johnson with the football, tries to bring it back, loses his grip on it. Lucky to get back on that football. You couldn't have asked for a better start for this Bills defense against a young, inexperienced quarterback in Davis Mills.
3rd and 28. They'll run a delay up the middle. Johnson will get it out across the 15. And a stop for the Buffalo defense, aided by a penalty and a miscue from Davis Mills with a slippery football.
Three and out, negative 7 yards. A loud crowd down in that end zone. It's a great start for Buffalo's D.
Cameron Johnston on to punt it from inside his own 5. Isaiah McKenzie, a chance here to get Buffalo some good field position.
You notice Isaiah McKenzie's taking his gloves off. You tend to think those gloves help with traction, but when it's wet like this, they often get very slippery.
And Johnston will try and push McKenzie over to the sideline. And no return. The punt down at the 34-yard line, a 48-yard kick. And here comes the Buffalo Bills offense. And our first look today at Josh Allen. 7 touchdowns, 1 pick on the season. His best performance so far a week ago against Washington.
Yeah, it really was a great performance against the Washington football team. He got back on schedule, 358 yards, 4 passing touchdowns. He ran one in as well.
Receiver. 71 is eligible.
It felt like some of the struggles, at least perceptually weren't really there for him in his mind.
And is Buffalo looking to send an early message here with the 6 offensive linemen in the game? Play action with Singletary. And it's intercepted. The first pass of the game is picked. Lonnie Johnson, the starting safety, and he will return it inside the Buffalo 15.
I am not sure what Josh Allen was looking at or looking to do with that play. Interesting. Here's a look at the play action fake. Again, this is probably a lack of reps on that particular design. I mean, Lonnie Johnson looked like the designated receiver on that. Stephon Diggs is coming across the field. At some point, I'd like to get a look at his feet. One of the things that plagued Josh Allen in week 1 against the Steelers that he was throwing flat-footed and just using his arm to throw the ball and not his full body. That's when balls sail. That looked like it sailed on him right when it left his hand.
6th takeaway for the Texans defense, amongst the best in the AFC. They'll run it here. Mark Ingram to the 11-yard line. As we check out the defense for the Bills, we've already seen the strength up front. Rousseau is the new guy, the rookie out of Miami, a first-round pick this year, alongside Oliver Lotulelei and Jerry Hughes. The two backers really emerging as a force. Guys, they're looking to be a lot more vocal. And Johnson and Saron Neal are the new starters this week.
Saron Neal is playing that essential third linebacker. It's a star-type position. He's got to cover, but also stop the run.
Good cutback from Mark Ingram. Milano with the stop. And the early setback for Josh Allen, the interception. And can the Texans cash it in?
This puts a lot of pressure on this Buffalo Bills defense, and despite their 1-2 record, the Houston Texans are one of the best red zone teams in the National Football League.
Got a big 3rd down call here. They can get the first down at the 3-yard line. David Johnson will give it a go, and he's stuffed. And it's 4th down. Jerry Hughes, the first guy there.
The interior of this Buffalo defensive front has done a great job mucking things up for this run game.
And it appears they will go for it. They keep the offense on the field. Bring in an extra tight end.
I mean, why not? You're huge dogs in this game. You're in the red zone. It's kind of a stolen possession. Get an interception early. It's an extra possession. Why not try to go get 6?
Mills on the rollout, and the pass is tipped by Jerry Hughes. Then Buffalo will take over on downs. He was looking for Johnson in the flat, and the veteran Texan native Jerry Hughes makes the play.
Jerry Hughes made an unbelievable job there getting his hand up just to knock it down.
Josh Allen, let's go back to the throw.
Yeah, you watch his feet. His feet are good, but it's almost like that golf swing where you kind of stop your swing and you block it. That's what it looked like when he let that ball go, and it sailed on him. But I got a question, Brian Daboll, man. They're wide open all the time. They put an extra lineman in for the first play of the game, and maybe they're not used to it.
They are back to 5 offensive linemen and back to the running game. Zach Moss. He and Devin Singletary sort of splitting duties. They told us this week they'll go with the hot hand over the course of the game. And a terrific receiving core. Some changes up front. Butker starts on the left side. Spencer Brown and Darrell Williams on the right side with some terrific skill players there.
Yeah, this is an offense we're kind of not used to seeing. This is 12 personnel. The previous down was 21 personnel. 2 tight ends are usually 3 wides. The weather certainly has something to do with that.
They'll try and run it again with Moss. Short gain there. The Houston defense, they run a lot of guys in and out for Lovie Smith, particularly up front. They'll have 8 they can use. They've been hampered by injuries, COVID protocols. They're without Zach Cunningham, their leading tackler today. and also a couple of coaches' decisions.
That's
2 new starters in the secondary.
That's right. Desmond King is starting at right corner, as well as Lonnie Johnson, who had that interception, the first of his career, returned it 32 yards to get him deep into the red zone, even though they came away with no points.
Allen on 3rd and 5, and that one over the head of Stephon Diggs. So perhaps the rain affecting both sides a bit here early on. It's a steady downpour in Orchard Park.
And again, another sailed pass for Josh Allen. That one wasn't even close. No pressure in the pocket. They did a good job protecting him. He had Diggs over there on the sideline. It just sailed it 10 yards over his head.
Starting to get the feeling that special teams could be crucial today in this weather. As Matt Hawk out of his own end zone. Roberts will give it a go. Gets away from the first man, looking for the edge, and he'll get it across midfield, and that's it. 7 yards on the return after the 44-yard punt. Great food, great people watching. Bills Mafia tailgating pregame, and they have brought the juice inside Highmark Stadium. Making noise early, scoreless, 8:33 to go in the first, and it's back to work for Davis Mills and the Texans offense. Had a chance to cash in a turnover the first time they had it and could not punch it in.
Right now, the Houston Texans got 3 tight ends on the field.
One of them's playing fullback. They'll try and run behind him. Mark Ingram, the former Heisman Trophy winner and Super Bowl champ, gets a first down. Well, they're foes today, but friends every other day of the year. David Culley and Sean McDermott, a rich coaching history together.
Yeah, they've been together for a lot of years of their professional careers, both here in Buffalo, 2 seasons, as you saw, 18, 17, and 18, but also back in Philadelphia. 10 years they worked together for the Philadelphia Eagles.
Both from the Andy Reid coaching tree. Great to see that Andy is okay. And back today for Kansas City after a bit of a health scare. First and 10, more on the ground, and coming off the edge, Micah Hyde to wrap up Ingram. Micah now in his 9th year out of Iowa, the leading tackler for the Bills, and their captain has been a real steady influence.
Yeah, and what makes this possible is Tre'Davious White is out matched up on Brandon Cooks, and so they got man coverage. So Micah Hyde is free, basically, unless one of the tight ends goes out, and he's obviously not in that position, so he can come free and run contain off the backside, the weak side, with nobody blocking him.
Again, the extra tight end, Mills on the boot. We'll try downfield, and still searching for a pass completion from either side on this rainy day.
Yeah, there's a little clever route that they had running. Draw all your eyes up tight, down tight to Brandon Cooks, who's coming up the backfield, and run Conley on his corner route. But Levi Wallace does a good job. It wasn't a good enough pass, but Levi Wallace, who's been underappreciated and dismissed at every level, makes a good play on that one.
Bottom of your screen is the matchup. The man marking White on Cooks. 3rd and 10. Mills is looking that way. Now slings it across the middle, and it's picked off. Intercepted by Tremaine Edmonds. And both sides have a takeaway.
Tremaine Edmonds just stops right in the middle of the passing lane. Davis Mills, bad decision.
Of analysts in football, providing expert insight and exclusive commentary you won't find anywhere else. Stream new episodes Tuesdays at 9:30 exclusively on Paramount Plus. Just 5 yards total for the Buffalo offense. Their first 2 possessions. And they'll give it another go here and run it on the ground with Devin Singletary. It's been rough sledding through the air, Tiki. 2 completions on 7 attempts for the 2 quarterbacks. Unfortunately, they were both the guys in the wrong jersey.
Yeah, that's right. We don't call those the completions, though. Interceptions don't count for the stats. Now, this Buffalo team, and Josh Allen in particular, he doesn't care about the rating. He just wants to win. He needs to get better as this game goes on.
Underneath to Singletary. And it appears to be enough for a Buffalo first down. I think we've waited long enough to mention the fact that when you look at the Bills' schedule, they are heavy favorites today with an AFC Championship game rematch looming next week in prime time at Kansas City. It is the trap game, if you will, today.
Yeah, this is a trap game, but they need to get focused. And I think that interception earlier in the game kind of smashes you back into reality that anybody can beat you if you're not prepared.
Singletary will get a couple.
You know, the first couple of series of this game, the offensive coordinator, Brian Dable, had them in unconventional, at least for them, setups. Extra linemen in, 12 personnel, 2 tight ends, 21 personnel, 2 backs. They had a fullback in the game. Now they're more wide open. 3 wide receivers. They're all split out here. Devin Singletary down at the bottom, trying to find mismatches and advantages because they have such talent at the wide receiver position.
Got a whistle before the snap. Houston wanted a timeout. Looking at all those weapons for the first time, Tiki may have given them pause, so they will talk about it.
Yeah, you have one thing called in the huddle.
Houston,
you expect
their first of the half.
A running back, Devin Singletary, to come back into the backfield, because that's usually just an indicator, right? You put the running back out of the backfield, you tells the quarterback whether they're playing man or zone, and then the defense can adjust. But Devin Singletary, who's a pretty good pass catcher, he stayed out, and they were getting ready to snap the ball. Obviously, Houston wasn't ready for it. We talked to Lovie Smith about this, and one of the things he said is, we know they're going to spread us out. They're going to put 4 wide receivers on the field. In this case, it was 5 lined up with the tight end, and we don't have the personnel to match it. So we're going to play zone. And zone is great against certain things. It's not against others, especially when you have such talent like the Buffalo Bills do.
Former head coach, now the defensive coordinator with the Texans. Super Bowl experience for Lovie. Allen, quick hitter to the outside. Those kinds of throws were very effective against Washington last week. And his first hookup was Stephon Diggs.
Now, here's the most important thing for Josh Allen. He's confident, 2 steps, gets the ball out on time before the defender can really make a play on it. Stephon Diggs gets involved early.
And Buffalo really, Tiki, they make you pick your poison. Diggs, an All-Pro last year. Cole Beasley, a hot start. He's having a career-type year. And then they bring in the guy with Super Bowl experience in Emmanuel Sanders.
They can stretch you at every position. And even Notch is pretty good when they call on.
Up the gut. Giving a little something to Reggie Gilliam, trying to get the short yardage, and DeMarcus Walker wraps him up a yard short, and it's 4th down. And a decision here right around midfield for Buffalo.
Yeah, they got about a yard, a little over a yard to go here. You could play field position because Davis Mills, you got a young quarterback, try to pin him deep, but this Bills team feels like they need to get something going. They're the better team. They should be winning this game. But anything happens on Sundays, as we know, and they need to get their field right. Going forward is a way to do that.
Allen will keep, he'll get the edge, and he's got the first down. Josh Allen inside the 35-yard line.
Oh, I love that. I love that. Quarterbacks, we got to get a yard. Let's do a sneak. No, I'm Josh Allen, man. You know, I'm a running back, right? Just as well as a quarterback. I'm going where the open spots are. Takes it around the edge. I don't know if that was called to go around the edge, but he tried to get that stiffy. That's hard to do, man. That's hard to do. I could never even master the stiff arm.
Only needed the 1. He tacked on another 15 to boot. As he catches the edge, the former Pop Warner running back he was telling us yesterday.
He's definitely got those skills.
And off of the 4th down pickup, Moss, big hole up the middle, following the fullback. Gilliam with a fantastic block and a gain of 9.
Now this is what you love. You get behind your front 4, front 5, Mitch Morris, Darrell Williams. These guys just push and push and push, create lanes. And both of these running backs, Singletary and in this case, Zach Moss, are hard chargers. They're downhill runners. They'll try to make a cut here and there, but they're getting the tough yards every time.
Yes. Run down.
Second down and short. Moss caught in the backfield, and he'll lose a yard. Roy Lopez gobbled him up. It's a defense without leading tackler Zach Cunningham and Ross Blacklock, who has a start under his belt. They are both out due to COVID protocols this week, and Lopez makes the play.
Yeah, Lopez has been getting a lot of burn anyways. In fact, he had started a couple of games. Great job of slipping the guard, coming through untouched. Those slow developing run plays like that are dead when someone gets penetration.
Allen to throw on third and short. Dawson knocks. Touchdown maker. 3 weeks in a row with a score from 25 yards out.
This is such a good job by Josh Allen. He had some earlier options to let the ball out of his hand. He pump faked him a couple of times. Here we see it from behind. Misses the slant early. Gets Dawson Knox coming on across the middle of the field. And the zone coverage is always going to be holes. You throw the linebacker, Kirksey, off to the side, come back to Knox in the middle of the field, and he gets in the end zone. 1 or 2 catches a game, first downs, touchdowns. That's all he does.
9-play drive kept alive by the 4th down run from the quarterback, Josh Allen.
Josh Allen's the man. He's a running back and a quarterback. He's got a lead.
Now the last meeting in the wild card in 2019, the come from behind overtime went Kymie Fairbairn with the game winner in extras. A lot of the Bills still around, not the case really for the Texans. There's a few guys, but so much has changed. And a move in the opposite direction for Houston. Meanwhile, the ascension since then continuing for Buffalo. All the way to the AFC Championship game last year, falling to Kansas City. But let's take a closer look. Look at the records since that meeting. And Josh Allen, the consistent quarterback for Buffalo.
Yeah, that's obviously Deshaun Watson and Tyrod Taylor and now Davis Mills. But it's really an organizational thing. The Bills have gotten it right with their coaching staff, with their talent. Their drafts have been outstanding, and Houston is kind of feels like they're in a limbo with all that's been going on the last couple of years.
Mills on first down, quick to the edge, and the catch for Brandon Cooks. They wanted to get him a touch. How about an update now in the studio with JB and Nate?
Chiefs D being tested.
That's right, JB. Jalen Hurts looking for Dallas. Got it. He catches it. Strong hands for the touchdown. Philadelphia leads 10-7.
Back to Beth Mowens, Tiki Barber.
Thank you, guys. Of course, Buffalo fans watching that one closely with Kansas City on deck in prime time next weekend. On 2nd and 7, hammered in the backfield, and the push from Ed Oliver, another Houston native. Westfield High School says hello.
They've had some readjustments of this offensive line down in Houston. Ed Oliver, who's right over the left guard, or right guard for the Houston Texans, comes scot-free. That's what you call a lookout block. At least turn around and tell him to look out. Wow.
0 for 3 so far on third down here in the first quarter. Mills heat off the edge. Again, they get rid of it quickly to Anthony Miller, and it's going to be close. A flag down on the play as well behind the catch, and it will go against the Texans.
Yeah, it looks like we're going to have a hold on Jordan Akins. At least I think we're getting a hold on Jordan Akins.
Spot of the football as it stands is just short of the yard to gain.
So what's happening is they're discussing with Coach McDermott whether he wants to take it.
Yep.
Push him back. And I can understand why. you would take that penalty. You never know with Coach Cully, who's looking to spark his team. I mean, they don't really have a lot to lose. They're developing, evaluating talent. Obviously, they want to win. But if it's 4th and a yard, they might go for it.
That's his buddy on the other side, too, and Leslie Frazier, the defensive coordinator.
That's right.
For the Bills, who was one of the finalists for the Texans head coaching job. He and Cully also go back a long time. 3rd and 21.
It's a good number. Just not when you got to gain it for a first down.
And Mills and everybody at that end of the stadium knew he was looking for Miller on the edge. And the Buffalo defense denies it 4th down.
Not much that offensive coordinator Tim Kelly can call here. Keeping it close to a first down. You just want to do something safe. Throw it out to Miller. Davis Mills is feeling some of the pressure, maybe some of the noise that's down in that end zone. This Bills Mafia is loud.
Cameron Johnston. Last punt was from the shadow of the end zone. Now he's standing in it, feeling some heat, gets it away, end over end. McKenzie from the 41. And the Bills will start out at midfield as the first quarter comes to an end. A 50-yard punt from Johnston. 9 yards the other way for McKenzie. 7-0. Buffalo on top of Houston, and they've got the ball back. Welcome back to Highmark Stadium, Orchard Park, New York. 7-0. Buffalo on top of Houston. Josh Allen, a 25-yard touchdown to Dawson Knox. And Allen, under duress, eludes the rush, slings it deep downfield, and it's caught inside the 20 by Stephon Diggs. And a gain of 31.
He does that so well. The Houston Texans do a good job of getting penetration and forcing Allen off of his line. Instead, he comes back, uses his athleticism. He throws the ball as well as anybody on the move in the NFL.
Allen hit and taken down. Whitney Merciless with the sack. His 3rd of the season.
And they need more pressure. If this Houston team is going to stay in this game, the Bills already have good field position. They're up 7. They have to get more pressure on Josh Allen and get him off of his comfort zone that he's been in for the most part of this game. First 2 series notwithstanding. The challenge for them is that Lovie Smith doesn't like the dog a lot. He's more of a zone coverage. I'm going to play Texans 2, as they call it, instead of Tampa 2, which he was famous for. But it's hard to bring extra people when you're playing zone all the time.
Allen across the middle of the 15-yard line. And that is Emmanuel Sanders getting in on the act.
But again, you're seeing some push up front. Whitney Merciless is in the game right now, as is Charles Omenihu, Jaleel Johnson. They're going to sub regularly on that front defensive 4 just so they can keep these guys.
The improvisation. That's a little peekaboo from Josh Allen around Dawkins, who that front line had pushed right in front of the quarterback. Looking at a 3rd and 6. Allen. Incomplete, intended for Knox. The throw was out to the pylon. Knox's initial turn was inside, and it's 4th down, and a field goal unit will come on.
Yeah, Josh Allen could see that they were in man coverage. Lineman all the way across the board, tried to put it on his back shoulder. They just weren't on the same page.
The drive that started at the 50 stalls. And Tyler Bass is on to attempt the 33-yarder. He's hit 20 of his last 21. The miss, the 53-yarder against Miami a couple of weeks ago. And he's got it. Early second quarter, and the Bills make it 10-0 over the Texans. For Tyler Bass, the scoring drive, 5 plays, 35 yards in just under 2 minutes. 10-0 Buffalo against a Houston Texans offense that struggled mightily in that first quarter. The numbers coming shortly. Andre Roberts back to return the Bass kick. Roberts will give it a go, the former Buffalo return man. Out across the 25, but only temporarily as a flag is down. Andre Smith made the tackle.
During the return, holding by the return team, number 33. 10-yard penalty on the spot of the foul. It's Houston's ball, 1st and 10.
And not making anything easier for Davis Mills.
How about 4 drives in that first quarter, 14 plays, and just 18 total yards. There are the numbers for Davis Mills, 1 for 5 with a pick. They had it in the red zone, went for it on 4th down, and the Bills defense held off of the interception that they got from Josh Allen earlier.
That was the Houston Texans' first red zone drive without points this season.
They'll run it with Lindsey. May have picked up a 1. How about Mills thus far?
Yeah,
Tiki?
Mills has been struggling. The weather was highly a factor earlier. Heavy rain. Ball slipped out of his hands. Luckily, it's not a turnover. Here's the interception. Tremaine Edmonds right where he needed to be, and then indecision. I think that's been the biggest issue for Davis Mills, is he's not quite sure where to go with the football. Now, a lot of that is the Bills' defense being harassing and in his face constantly. But there's also some doubt. It's only his 2nd start in the NFL, and as we said at the top of the broadcast, Beth, well, he's 13th since high school.
4 on the ground, and that hole plugged up quickly and filled by Cam Lewis, just brought up off the practice squad this week. And it's 3rd down, and a guy that Mills looks to often is Brandon Cooks, and as we talked about, he's 1v1 today against Tre'Davious White, and it's 3rd down and 9 here.
Yeah, Brandon Cooks, who has been so effective everywhere he's been. Only 1 target, 1 reception for 3 yards. They're trying to do the smart thing and run the football to keep 2nd and 3rd down regular, but when you're getting stoned in the backfield.
Cooks and White to the bottom of your screen. Mills looking that way. Under duress, and he's sacked at the 2-yard line. Boogie Basham got him. And it's 4th down.
And that's this problem when you're focusing only on one guy. Single high safety look here. No, it's probably man coverage, and everybody is covered up. Nobody's coming free. Brandon Cooks gets to the middle of the field, but he's safety help. Nowhere for Davis Mills to go, and he's not a runner. So he's not that kind of quarterback who is going to see a play extended and then take off when there's nobody in the middle of the field.
First career sack for the rookie out of Wake Forest. And McKenzie with a chance. Jukes his way inside the 40, and another flag is down. 7 yards on the return after a 43-yard punt.
Eagle block in the back by the return team, number 53. A 10-yard penalty is enforced from the end of the run. Buffalo's ball, 1st down.
Nothing. Buffalo on top of Houston. Offense set to take the field again.
An official sports betting partner of the NFL. Modelo, brewed for those with a fighting spirit. And by KFC. Order on KFC.com or through the app.
$10-0 advantage for the Bills over the Houston Texans. Josh Allen with a touchdown pass. Tyler Bass with a 33-yard field goal, and another short field for the offense. Incomplete. Allen hit as he released it by that pressure coming again with the 4-man front.
And again, that's what Lovie Smith needs this front 7 to do. That was Malik Collins who got in there really quickly. And we know that this Buffalo Bills team has changed up their offensive line. Cody Ford goes to the bench. Darrell Williams moves over from right tackle to right guard, and Spencer Brown, the rookie, who's just massive from Northern Iowa, starting at right tackle.
We also throw in that John Feliciano is out injured. Ike Butker at left guard. Moss finds a seam through that right side, a first down, and barrels his way inside the 35-yard line. 17 yards.
Now this is what this Bills team needs to do. They're at an advantage. They have they're a heavy favorite. They have the yard advantage. They have the home field advantage. They have the emotional advantage. Start running downhill, creating opportunities for your run game so it's not all on Josh Allen, and demoralize an opponent.
Trips to the left. Beasley, Diggs, and Sanders. Allen chooses Sanders, caught for a first down, sliding at the 12-yard line. That's 20 more.
And again, you get these 3 wide receiver sets. No matter what defense is called, you're always going to be able to find a clearance. One guy clears out, and Josh Allen told us even those clear out routes can be routes themselves. He'll find you. You get a short little dig coming underneath to Emmanuel Sanders. Great anticipation by Josh Allen to throw that ball as he was coming out of his break. Hit him right where it needed to.
Isaiah McKenzie, the wide receiver, starts out in the backfield. Dawson Knox looking for a little bubble for the tight end. Got down to the 10-yard line. It was interesting talking with the coaches, right? You know, Brian Dable, the offensive coordinator, says there's only one ball to go around. Is there a problem with the egos, jealousy? And then Allen quickly jumps in and says, only one ball, but an opportunity to get it on any play.
That's exactly
with the
right.
way they can improvise.
Exactly right. If they get off schedule, he hits his 3rd step or 5th step or whatever it may be, and nobody is available for him, he'll move around, and these guys move with him. And Dawson Knox is sneaky.
Yeah, they know they can get it at any given moment. Moss, so tough to bring down, gets a nice shove from a teammate in the right direction as Spencer Brown pushed him forward.
Huge movement on the left side of this line. You push that D line back, makes it so much easier to find cuts if you're Zach Moss. Zach Moss was inactive for week 1 of the season. We asked if there was something else going on. They said, no, it's just a numbers game, special teams-wise. He came back with a force, now has 3 touchdowns on the season.
Yeah, he's emerged as the go-to guy in the red zone. He's out there on 3rd down. They can still pick up a first. Moss caught in the backfield, and he'll lose a yard. Kamu Grugier-Hill, a guy who they missed dearly when he was out with a knee injury last week, returns, and it's 4th down.
Yeah, Kamu's starting because Zach Cunningham is in the COVID protocol. It's a great play to clear through and just hold on to Zach Moss's ankle. That's a hard play for a linebacker, especially with these stout, short, stout running backs who have strong legs.
Wait.
Holding on to one leg is rough.
And David Culley finding a positive here. Buffalo with 2 short fields, and they do not get touchdowns out of either drive. They will settle for the 26-yard field goal instead. 13-0 Buffalo as the Texans hang around. Some cancer screenings declined by 90%, but now doctors are diagnosing later stage cancers, so don't wait. Talk to your doctor about getting screened. It takes all of us to intercept cancer. Visit NFL.com/crucial catch to learn more. Crucial catch. Intercept cancer signage around Highmark Stadium, and of course near and dear to the heart of Sean McDermott with his longtime friend Jim Johnson, who passed away from cancer, skin cancer, melanoma back in 2009 when they were both together on the Philadelphia Eagles coaching staff. On the return for the Texans out across the 20. Sean still very active in the community, and will quite often pick up the phone and talk with patients to help them in their fight.
So important to get tested early. My mother is a 27-year survivor of breast cancer. She came to us before our senior seasons, our 4th years at UVA's, told us about it. We wanted to come home. She said, I'm going to get busy living or get busy dying. And she's thriving.
Beth Mowins along with Tiki Barber. Orchard Park, Buffalo 13-0 over Houston. And the Texans offense, 9 total yards so far in the first half, struggling to get anything going against this Buffalo defense.
Yeah, and it's really tough because the threat of the deep ball is not there. So the only thing that's going for the Houston Texans is their run game. And they're trying all kinds of different things, from Burkhead to Ingram, Davis Mills, confused in the pocket, harassed in the pocket. Just can't seem to get anything going. They need one pop play to start to get themselves feeling good right now. It just hasn't happened yet.
Davis Mills just 1 for 5, 3 yards passing. Will look to throw here, tipped, incomplete. An update, by the way, the Buffalo defense right now without Matt Milano, a hamstring injury. So A.J. Klein, the 9th-year man out of Iowa State, has stepped in.
And A.J. Klein's got plenty of experience his years with Carolina and then with New Orleans, so they're not missing much. This is a base nickel defense. And you're seeing Cam Lewis make some plays. He almost got underneath that one for an interception. So much depth to this Bills defense.
That's a top 5 unit. They have not allowed a 3rd down conversion yet today. 4 guys coming, and that's enough. And down goes Davis Mills. Star Lotulelei, the 8th-year man out of Utah, and it's 4th down.
I'm sure Davis Mills is wanting to get the ball out of his hand faster. But there's just nowhere to go with the football. And as a result, this defensive front for the Buffalo Bills is just teeing off on them.
A sack for Boogie, and now a sack for Star for Buffalo. High and deep. And back goes McKenzie at the 20. And he'll get it out across the 30, and a late flag comes in at the 33-yard line. That came from right behind the tackle.
I feel like we've got a flag on every special team play. Maybe there was one that we didn't. And it's always the same thing. Holding, legal block in the back, something like that.
Well, when it was raining earlier, of course, I predicted special teams would have its moments. This wasn't what I had anticipated with a...
No.
Now that the rain has stopped, a flag on every kick.
During the return, illegal block in the back. Number 33 of the return team. The 10-yard penalty is assessed from the spot of the foul. It's Buffalo's ball, 1st and 10.
That's Saran Neal, who's replacing Taron Johnson today. More Josh Allen in the Buffalo offense when we come back. A Verizon halftime report. Join JB, Phil, Nate Boomer, and Coach Cowher for all the latest NFL scores and highlights. That's all coming up on the Verizon halftime report. Josh Allen with a touchdown pass to Dawson Knox, and then Tyler Bass through the uprights a couple of times. They have scored on their last 3 drives. Maybe stinging a little bit from the fact that those 3s weren't 7, so let's see if they come out with their hair on fire a little bit. 5:28 to go in the half.
3 wides again. This is where they're most comfortable running the ball and throwing the ball.
Allen, bodies coming at him. Sanders' 3rd catch of the ball game, and it's good for a 1st down. And now the rains have returned and falling pretty heavy. And Sanders may have gotten hurt.
Yeah, it looks like he got just laid on a little bit too hard. He'll be fine. Maybe he was just complaining to the referee a little bit, but Josh Allen is starting to feel himself again. That early bad start is now giving way to a lot of easy throws. His wide receivers are getting clean and clear.
8 for 12, 114 yards. Back to the ground, Singletary fights his way out to the 44. Of course, the beauty of this offense on display in that win against Washington, when they had the short drive for a field goal at the end of the first half, and then the 93-yard drive the first time they had it in the 3rd quarter, that really busted the game open. They can do it either way. Second and 3, more power game into Houston territory and a first down.
And when you run for 7 yards on first down, it makes it so much easier on the play call. Get to this outside zone. Devin Singletary puts his foot in the ground, takes his pick of holes. He could have kept stretching to the outside or gone into the one he went. Starting to see this Texans D feel a little bit demoralized, getting pushed off the ball.
Back to the ground at another chunk. Tiki, from your playing days, what did you have to make sure you were doing on a rainy day like this? Slick field, slick football?
Yeah, the most fumbles in the NFL happen as you reach for those extra yards. You start to get wrapped up. You feel like you can break through the tackle, and you're like, oh, maybe I'm going to come through this. And if I can, I'm going to get an extra inch, which doesn't matter. So hold the ball tight to your chest as you go to the ground is the most important thing with ball security.
They will continue to press it with their legs. Terrific effort close to the line to gain. Looks like it's going to be just short.
Yeah, and Devin Singletary, he was perfect on that play, as I was just alluding to. He easily could have tried to reach this ball out. Instead, he wrapped it up with both hands, offhand, ball hand tied up against your chin, offhand, across the other hand, and reach forward that way as opposed to reaching the ball out, making it vulnerable.
Third and short, it's Moss, and they fumble the snap. Allen tries to fall on it. And he will get it back, but they'll lose a couple of yards, and it's fourth down. And the slippery football shows up again.
Yeah, it does. I mean, this looks like Josh Allen trying to rush it a little bit. I don't think he was bouncing out to the edge like he did the first time they went for it in a short yardage situation, but he was pulling out. Just lost it.
Offense will stay out there. They have already converted once on fourth down today. Kept the drive alive that they scored their touchdown on.
This is the 2-minute warning. 2 minutes remaining in the first half.
2-minute warning at Orchard Park for the fourth down play coming up. Well, Tiki, can we get to an even dozen wings here from the crowd in Buffalo?
Oh, it's a wing. I didn't know that was.
It's a fourth down, and they're going to go for it from the Texans 40. Allen with the protection, incomplete, broken up, intended for Diggs, and the coverage was there from Terrence Mitchell. And the Texans will take over on downs, and we'll be back in 30 seconds after this from Progressive Insurance.
Yep.
Under 2 minutes to go in the first half, 13-0 Buffalo. A big fourth down stop for the Texans. Unfortunately, Tiki, for Houston, the offense, wow, 20 plays, just 7 total yards. They're negative through the air so far.
Yeah, you can't look at it like that, though. This is their opportunity. You have good field position, made a big stop defensively.
Flag down as Mills will scoot out of bounds. May have gotten back to the line of scrimmage.
It's in the area of holding, obviously.
Marcus Cannon on that right side.
Personal foul, face mask. Offense number 85. 15-yard penalty from the previous spot. Repeat first down.
That's the tight end, Pharaoh Brown.
Well, there goes that opportunity with good field position. Now you're in bad field position, relatively speaking, and you got 25 yards to go for the first down. The rookies have not done well against this Bills defense. 1-4 overall. Look at the completion percentage, which is not too bad, but it's really the turnovers. 9 interceptions to only 4 touchdowns for rookie quarterbacks against this Bills Mafia defense.
That's in the last 4 years. Tremaine Edmonds has an interception of Mills today in the first half. Mills tipped, and there's another pick. takeaway for the Buffalo defense.
And again, this not all on Davis Mills. The ball was tipped and went high.
We'll be back in 30 seconds after this.
My work has been viewed by 100 million people. My work helps save lives. My work has gone platinum. My work gives people hope. I work at FedEx.
Take your career to the next level with one of our many open positions.
Well, Davis Mills, through his first 6 quarters, had taken pretty good care of the football. A different story today, a couple of picks for the Buffalo D, and it's another short field for the Bills, 1:40 to go in the half. And a 13-0 advantage.
If he went to the refrigerator, you're like, wait, didn't they not get 4th down?
Allen, all day, still looking. And now we'll run with it. Down to the 35 and a gain of 8. Let's go back to the pick.
Here's the interception. Again, Davis Mills is in the right spot, but A.J. Klein tips it. Great job knowing that he's not going to get home. Just jump and put your hands up. Tip drill from Micah Hyde. Been practicing that since he was 7 years old. Pee-wee.
Big moment for Klein, the replacement for Matt Milano, who went out earlier in the game with a hamstring injury. And Hyde with the interception. Another first down on the ground. We had a chance to talk to Micah yesterday, who says this team they're a bunch of men on a mission after they came up just short of the Super Bowl a year ago. He's one of the leaders of that defensive unit. But now they hand it off to the offense to try and put some more points up.
95 yards on the ground already. Josh Allen, obviously 25 of that.
Yeah, hey, watch him.
They're getting downhill.
Allen, again, the pocket's clean, and he's got time for the first time today to find Cole Beasley. Well, coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report, join JB, Phil, Nate, Boomer, and Coach Cower. I'll have all the latest scores for you and highlights. That's all coming up on the Verizon Halftime Report. Josh Allen with 1 touchdown toss in the half, looking for another.
That last play was an example of what Josh is talking about. Cole Beasley's out there basically just to influence the corner, and maybe get the post in the middle of the field. Nothing else there, chunk it out to him.
2nd down and 4. They've got 3 timeouts remaining. Allen caught inside the 15. It's Emmanuel Sanders and a first down.
Yep, you're going to get a Javier Thomas, who's just up to play nickel this week. Going to get flagged for a defenseless receiver. He came in, led with his helmet on Emmanuel Sanders.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness, defense, number 37. The penalty is half the distance from the end of the play. Automatic first.
Boy, the Bills are so excited about the addition of Sanders, the free agent pickup from the Saints.
I mean, I feel bad for that call because Emmanuel Sanders was being driven that way by Lonnie Johnson Jr. I don't think that Thomas's intent was to get up under his chin and try to knock him out. He kind of got knocked into him.
Sets up the Bills, 1st and goal. Moss, the offset back. Allen flushed. Back of the end zone. Incomplete. Intended for Gabriel Davis. And that was Lonnie Johnson with the coverage. Lonnie had the interception earlier today.
It's so important as a defender on this Houston Texans team. When Josh Allen does this, he's just as likely to throw it front side as the backside. So even if you're away from the play, you got to stay on top of your coverage because He can throw off schedule. He can throw across his body. Sometimes those throws are ill-advised, but Stephon Diggs' first touchdown this year, that's exactly what it was. He threw across both hashes. So as a defense, watching him on tape, you know you can't chill even when the ball's going away from you.
Allen underneath, caught at the 2-yard line, and that's Diggs, and it'll be 3rd down.
Timeout, Buffalo. They're first. This is a 30-second timeout.
Here you see Stephon Diggs, a tripped receivers in a bunch. Just confuses coverage when you cross themselves like that, and you end up getting Diggs on a linebacker sitting down in the zone. It's really easy to complete that pass for Josh Allen.
Kirksey and Grugier-Hill combined to keep him out of the end zone. 3rd and goal coming up. Week 1, 4 drives and just the 1 touchdown. But in the last couple of games, 8 touchdowns and 10 red zone trips. 0 for 2 today. They've settled for a couple of field goals.
Here they are spreading out. Everybody almost feels like a draw's coming.
Allen out of the empty set, incomplete. Tried to hook up with Zach Moss, and it's 4th down.
Yeah, he rushed that one a little bit. Zach Moss hadn't quite got his head turned all the way around.
They are 1 for 2 on 4th down today, and they will keep Tyler Bass on the sideline here and go for it again.
And again, the reason you're comfortable calling this play, if you're Sean McDermott, or calling this going for it on 4th down, is you're not threatening. You're not feeling threatened by the Houston Texans.
Timeout, Houston. They're second of the half. This is a 30-second timeout.
Their lack of offensive production thus far aids the decision of Sean.
No, of course. And at the end of the day, what's going to happen if you fail here? There's 30 seconds left in the half. Less than 30 seconds left. But here has been Josh Allen. Dawson Knox, great touchdown pass. Him on the move to Stephon Diggs. Hits Emmanuel Sanders multiple times. He spreads the ball around. 5 different receivers and buck passes for this Bills team today. Despite that early interception, which was just an ugly decision, maybe slipped out of his hand, so we can excuse him of fault. Josh Allen has been Josh Allen.
Fourth and goal, Buffalo. And now Buffalo will call the timeout as they try to draw him off sides.
They're second of the half. This is a 30-second timeout.
I mean, I guess I understand that. I mean, if you're going to do it, just do it, right?
Now you got Tyler Bass thinking, okay, I might have a shot at this.
Yeah, right.
Let him think about it a little bit more.
I think I'm going to go out and kick the field goal now. Again, Sean McDermott can't really be wrong here because Houston's not threatening. Second half may be a different story.
And here comes Tyler Bass. So the coaches decide that they will go for the 3. The fans disagree to a certain extent.
Yeah, they want touchdowns, not field goals.
He's hit from 33 and 26. And this one a 21-yarder. And he's got it. 16-0. Buffalo on top of Houston. 23 seconds to go here in the first half. Well, Wednesday on CBS, CSI, the global phenomenon, opens a new chapter in the city where it all began. New mysteries, new team, new science. It's the next generation of crime scene investigators. It's CSI Vegas. dig deeper to the truth. Wednesday at 10 o'clock Eastern, CBS. So the defense gets a couple of interceptions, and then the offense turns that into 10 points for Buffalo.
Which is good for Buffalo, but Sean McDermott and this offensive staff are going to be frustrated when they watch this film. Mainly because they're not scoring touchdowns in the red zone.
Yeah. Now this is something that Houston will try and avoid here if they don't take a knee. The fewest first half yards, you got to go back to 2002, 21 against Pittsburgh. They have just 4 today, running 21 plays.
That's almost impossible. I mean, obviously it's because of sacks. The passing yardage gets pulled down.
You touched upon it too. I mean, folks have probably seen the graphic with the rookie quarterbacks who are 1 for 11 as starters this year, and that the only one was over another rookie. It's been tough sledding today for Davis Mills.
Yeah, that's Mac Jones over Zach Wilson, Patriots over the Jets. But it has been tough sledding. I don't think that's an indication of anything. I think it's just the circumstances that these rookie quarterbacks find themselves in. Houston's in a rebuild-ish transition, you can call it. Davis Mills in a tough position.
8th quarterback chosen this year in the 3rd round out of Stanford. And they will run it up the middle. And that could take care of the first half as the Texans and the Bills start the walk towards the locker room. A touchdown pass for Josh Allen and 3-pointers off the leg of Tyler Bass 3 times in a 16-0 Buffalo lead over Houston.
This is the end of the first half.
Buffalo will take that lead into the locker room. Halftime, Houston at the half as we get set for the kickoff to open up the 3rd quarter. Beth Mullins along with Tiki Barber here at Highmark Stadium. The weather playing a little havoc with both sides early on, Tiki, and then it was the Buffalo offense that finally started to get some stuff going.
Yeah, Josh Allen struggled. First play of the game, he throws an interception, and we're wondering what kind of day it's going to be because it's coming down hard. But then the clouds kind of cleared a little bit, and Josh Allen started to feel a little bit better, started to feel himself with his wide receiving core, and making some big plays over and over and over again. A touchdown to Dawson Knox and consistently getting his team into the red zone. Now, unfortunately, they haven't been able to score touchdowns, but they are scoring points, and that's enough against a Houston Texans offense that is struggling against this Buffalo D.
Tyler Bass has kicked 3 field goals to bolster the throwing touchdown. Bills to receive the second half kickoff and out to the 25. They'll go from there. You reference the offense for the Texans, just 8 total yards in the first half.
And 4 of those came on the last play. But here's Josh Allen, 4th and short. Not only does he not sneak, he goes to the outside, runs like a running back, and then he hits Dawson Knox. Double clutching to move the defense for a touchdown. The only one of the day so far.
They throw it about 60% of the time on first down, and they'll sling it again here. Diggs breaks a tackle and has a first down to the 40. Got away from Desmond King. And a gain of 16. So it is the 6th game in a row now, Tiki, that Buffalo has a double-digit lead at the break.
An old Buffalo team did it. Here is this Buffalo team, the Buffalo All-Americans. Hey. One more. They'll be right up there with them.
There's a Houston team up top there, the Oilers.
Yeah, that team must have, they were
61-62.
10 straight. Wow.
Devin Singletary in the backfield here on first down. Buffalo trying to get to 3-1. The Texans trying to get back to 500 today. Singletary across midfield. Still on his feet. Inside the 25. Inside the 20-yard line before he finally dances out of bounds. A run of 42. He covered about double that. But it may be coming back with the flag.
We're going to get a hold on Darrell Williams, who pushed his
Holding. Offense, number 75. The 10-yard penalty is assessed from the spot of the foul. Repeat first down.
Here you see Darrell Williams just getting a little bit too much jersey and pushing him down. He didn't even need to do it because Devin Singletary was already clear. As a runner, you hate turning around and seeing laundry on the field, especially when you have long runs that put out all of that energy.
Did you see that side judge, Keith Washington, by the way, looking like Josh Allen on that flag throw?
He did. It's not going to show up in the stat book, even though it felt good to execute it for Singletary.
Now it's 1st and 17.
Linda. Like 20, what's that?
Allen keeps running the RPO out across the 45.
That actually fooled me. Here's the flag by them.
That a baby, Keith.
The side
Was that 20 yards, 25 yards?
I think flew.
What?
Not quite jacked like we're used to.
Shout out to
He's
the
a big-looking
officials.
man.
Oh, they love being a part of this as much as the players and the fans. Gene Steratore probably smiling back in the studio right now, watching the replays.
Meanwhile, Josh Allen takes it to second and manageable.
Good pressure coming there from the Texans. Josh had to toss that one away.
Yeah, and again, one thing that we heard from David Culley, the head coach of the Texans, is this team's not going to quit. I mean, they're down 2 scores right now. And obviously, it's a touchdown, and two-point conversions. But they're not a type of team that's going to lay down just because they haven't been playing well. And that's a credit not only to the veterans on this team. There are a lot of vets here, but also to the energy of the coaching staff, Culley and Lovie Smith.
Well, they're only 1 for 7, Buffalo, on 3rd down. The Texans have done a good job on this particular down, just not this particular occasion. Sanders with a 1st down to the 37-yard line. He picks up 20. Got in front of Desmond King.
Yeah, and again, this is one of those situations where Desmond King he's covering too long. He's trying to stay in position. Josh Allen does a great job of just finding him. Frustration. Put a little extra physicality in that. You want to get a response. It's always the second guy, they say, right? Emmanuel Sanders gets up. He gets wrestled to the ground, and good no call there, though.
Sanders is the guy that has brought the postseason experience, the Super Bowl ring to this Buffalo offense.
20, what's that?
Keeping it on the ground. Zach Moss. It was interesting talking to Brian Dable. He's quick to remind folks about, he's a Buffalo guy, and the blue-collar mentality of this Bills offense. Only the quarterbacks, Allen and Mitch Trubisky, are first-rounders. Everybody else, guys that have something to prove, guys that have come into the league with a little chip on that shoulder.
Yeah, a lot of third-rounders. Devin Singletary's third-rounder. Zach Moss, who just picked up 6 yards. He's the third-rounder. Dawson Knox, who scored the first touchdown. He's a third-rounder. Emmanuel Sanders is a third-rounder. It's all third-rounders on this team.
Knox has touchdown catches now in 3 straight games. Big tight end. They'll reverse it with Sanders here. And he's got the 1st down into the red zone for Buffalo.
And he's such an athletic veteran. Been around for a few years, but you can use him in so many different ways. He's not afraid of contact. Obviously, you get the eyes going one way with the action. He comes back around and gets north and south. So many times when you see these jet sweeps or reverses, you see the wide receivers want to stretch it because they don't want to take the hits. Emmanuel Sanders is not afraid of those hits.
Allen keeps, finds Diggs, and the ball squirts out as he hits the ground. They are going to rule it a catch, and then popped out due to contact with the ground, and now flags all over the place. There was a scrum post-play.
Yeah, this is getting a little bit emotional down here. You saw immediately Keith Washington, who we were just talking about, side judge pointing to the ground, is saying he was down by contact. As they now try to sort it all out. And obviously the flag comes in late. Sure, there will be some unsportsmanlike conduct here. Lonnie Johnson.
The ruling on the field is an incomplete pass. After the play was over, personal foul and necessary roughness. Number 1 is the defense. The penalty is half the distance from the previous spot and an automatic first down.
All right, so they change up the call on the catch, no catch. It's incomplete, but they will pick up yardage here with the penalty.
Yeah, you got to control the ball going to the ground. Even though I don't know, did this ball hit the ground or did it just, yeah, it did hit the ground there. Because if it had popped up off of Stephon Diggs, that's
would have been a pick, right?
An interception. But you could see the nose of the ball actually hit the ground.
Instead, first down, Buffalo into the hands of Diggs. And that one comes out. Ball is loose on the turf. Oh, Houston had a shot at it, and it looks like Buffalo got it back.
Yeah, they did. They were lucky, too. The rain has started to pick up again, so the ball is slippery.
Knocked out of there by Justin Reed.
Yeah, this is what happens when...
There's a completed pass and a fumble recovered by the offense.
Stephon Diggs, you'll see, coming across. As soon as he turns backwards, you expose the football.
Great punch by Mitchell after Reed held him up.
Yeah, Mitchell comes from behind. See, the ball's exposed right there. He punches it out.
Oh, Kirksey.
Unfortunately.
Instead, second down, Moss to the 10, and that'll bring up third down and goal.
And again, they're just not operating super efficiently in tight red zone. In the red zone, they're fine, but in the tight red zone, they can't seem to find the holes or the opportunities in the defense. And again, you got to credit the Texans for stiffening up when it matters.
There you go, Tiki, right there. 3 possessions, no TDs. They've settled for the 3 Bass field goals. Allen with the protection, almost intercepted, incomplete. Christian Kirksey.
That should have been an interception. Christian Kirksey had his hands on this one. Josh Allen, a little bit unsure of what he was trying to do. He didn't fire that one back to the back of the end zone. Both his receivers were kind of in the same place. Gabriel Davis, Emmanuel Sanders converging at one spot. A little too far to put touch on it.
And they will go back to Bass for the 4th time. The short field goal attempt. And he stays true, 4 for 4 today. The lead is now 19-0 Bills. For Buffalo, all 4 when they had red zone trips, however, and could not cash in on touchdowns. Nonetheless, 19-0. It's been all Buffalo against a Houston Texans offense that has really struggled to get anything going today. Negative yards passing. Just 11 total yards in the ball game. And they will head back out there to try and change that. Meanwhile, we'll remind you that Saturday, it's a day-night SEC on CBS doubleheader for you beginning at 3:30 Eastern. Who's better, Tiki? Is it Georgia or is it Alabama? As they continue on a collision course. Alabama in prime time as they take on Texas A&M. Drive to Atlanta starts your day at 2:30 Eastern, followed by college football today. It's Sunday afternoon and evening, the SEC on CBS.
Georgia's D feels something special.
A big Saturday afternoon for you with the SEC. And on into the evening. Georgia and Alabama will stay 1-2 this week. Here is the first half offensive numbers. The total yards, 8. The passing yards, a negative, just 1 first down. And the lowest first half of offense in franchise history.
Yeah, the only thing that we thought we'd find in this day for Houston was this guy right here, Brandon Cooks. But Tre'Davious White has been mirroring him the whole time. That's only his second touch. Davis Mills doing a good job of getting out of the pocket. And Brandon Cooks drives up the field, pushes off Tre'Davious White, and just settles down right near the first down marker. 3rd and short. It's the first time we've seen them in 3rd and short in a while.
Most targets in the NFL coming into the game today, and one of the top receivers. They'll go for it here and get a good push on 3rd and 1. Behind Pharaoh Brown and Eau Claire. They had a couple of tight ends on that side.
That was Jordan
Akins with the carry.
The carry. He got 4 targets or 4 catches last week. 4th year out of Central Florida. Wonder if he ever thought he'd be a fullback. I'm a tight end. What are you talking about, Coach?
Going short yardage there.
But you know what? It's a first down. It's one that's been few and far between for Houston getting first downs. And again, here we see they start Cooks in the slot out here.
Mills has to step up, has time. Incomplete, looking for Cooks downfield, who found some green grass. And a flag down on the play.
Yeah, it looks like we're going to get a holding.
Holding. Offense number 74. 10-yard penalty. Repeat first down.
That's Max Sharping. And once again, the Texans are significantly behind the chains. These 10-yard penalties, leaving you on 1st and forever, are really hard to overcome when your offense just isn't clicking.
Well, we talked to Tim Kelly this week. You know, obviously they've been through a lot of adversity, particularly at the quarterback position with Deshaun Watson out and the injury to Tyrod Taylor, a rookie at the helm. He said, hey, our guys have done a great job preparing, they're persevering, and now it's all about adjusting in game, which they're looking to do here in the second half. And looking at a 1st and 20, they'll run it with Phillip Lindsay. It's a running back room that collectively is the best active bunch in the NFL in terms of career rushing yardage and touchdowns scored. But you know, coming off a 42-yard performance in the loss against Carolina, the numbers have been in decline, Tiki, every week so far.
Yeah, a lot of that is because of the quarterback. And these defenses, including this Buffalo Bills defense, is not afraid to put 7, 8 guys around the line of scrimmage because they don't believe in Davis Mills' arm.
Mills off the pump. Edmonds bringing the heat. And they drop it off to Johnson. A well-executed screenplay out across the 35, and that'll give them a fighter's chance.
Yeah, but gets them back to 3rd and 10. There's still a long way to go. And this is one of the challenges for the offensive coordinator, Tim Kelly. We just showed him. He's got that play sheet, and he's looking at it, and he's wondering, what is my quarterback going to be comfortable with? And not a lot of it is comfortable. So you see him spread out on 1st and long. You know what's coming. You know they're running an inside draw.
Against the 4-man pressure, A.J. Klein almost got him. Hit on the release, incomplete. And it's 4th down.
Yeah, you're right. And again, they have man coverage down here with Tre'Davious White on Brandon Cooks. And it's exactly where Davis Mills is looking. He developed a comfort with him. 112 of his 168 yards last week were to Brandon Cooks. But when you have an elite corner like Tre'Davious White taking him out of the ball game, Davis Mills gets lost. He's off his first read, has nowhere to go with the second read. Only thing he can do is throw it out of bounds.
Isaiah McKenzie.
Total yards today, and the offense has 290 yards. So Buffalo taking advantage of a Houston team that's, one, not that good, a young quarterback making his second start against that defense in this weather. That's a lot of bad signs.
You know, Phil, you and I both have played up there in Buffalo. I think I played there about 5 times. So when you were up there and they are a good team like they are right now, and you have 80,000 crazed Bills Mafia fans, in weather like this, a second-year quarterback is going to struggle, and that's exactly what we've seen.
And what we're seeing now is this offense really starting to find their rhythm. Of course, we're familiar with Stephon Diggs, Dawson Knox having himself a day. But Emmanuel Sanders, that X-factor wide receiver, he's really showing why they picked him up, and here it is, right on time.
Wow.
Diggs coming up with a big-time play. And this is what you get with this offense. We know when one-on-one coverage happens, Josh Allen wants to hit Diggs. But now he has options all the way down from Gabriel Davis, Dawson Knox, and, of course, Emmanuel Sanders, who I mentioned.
Let me just say this to the fans. When Buffalo's offense comes out and stalls a little, don't worry. It doesn't bother them. They just keep coming and trying to assault you. They do. And they don't get frustrated by the fact. They got off to a slow start today. Josh Allen might miss a few throws or whatever, but they just figure, if I keep on shooting, sooner or later I'll make a basket.
That was a 37-yard completion there. Excellent on the ground game here. Buffalo continuing to plug away.
When you look at their offense, I mean, you talk about creativity. They probably don't need to do it, but I love the motions. I love the different elements of misdirection that they're throwing. And it's an offense that, you know, you talk about it's wide open, but, you know, they're used to playing this kind of weather. A Houston team comes up there, they're in a dome, it's warm weather.
Yep.
It's something to acclimate, and we have a player down.
And while they're checking on him, that was Devin Singletary, the running back, 5'7", 203, getting it done, a young man out of Florida Atlantic.
And we were talking about it when the draft came around about 3 years ago, and they drafted Josh Allen, the absolute perfect quarterback for the Buffalo Bills. We'll be back right.
Advantage of exactly what that defense gives him.
And, Nate, we're back in terms of what Buffalo just did coming out of commercial.
And Coach was just talking about how simplified this offense is, yet aggressive. Yeah. They don't overcomplicate things. If you have, 1/2, and you're sitting back seeing Cole Beasley in the slot, just like we saw, let's get the ball to their playmakers. And oftentimes, Josh Allen is going to keep it himself if the first design play doesn't work out, Phil.
Yeah. And that first down play was to Cole Beasley.
Yeah. Buffalo is aggressive, but they have all the bells and whistles for their offense to make it easy on their players and the quarterback.
On the ground again.
This time a fumble.
Yes.
Got it back.
Did Singletary
Stephon Diggs.
Okay, Diggs.
Yeah, Diggs. Oh, no, that's Emmanuel Sanders. Excuse me, Emmanuel Sanders. Veteran move right there. Sometimes it helps when you're not blocking on the outside because you're around the ball when it pops out. Coach says don't watch, but that time right there, it helped him out.
You been there? Is that what you're telling me?
Oh, of course.
Well, they're being patient with the weather and the lead, 19-0. Buffalo has actually slowed the pace down.
And I like putting him under the center right here. I really do. I think this helps the running game. You're downhill running just like this. You're putting himself in third and manageable situations, and at the same time, you're using the clock.
And Zach Moss on that one. Bill, so to take it to the next point, the reason that's helping him under center is?
Well, number one, the running game is more downhill. It's not a vertical running game as you have in the shotgun. But I do like this utilization of the clock. Right now, you have a 19-point lead. There's only so many possessions that the Houston Texans will have right now. But you want to go out and spread it out. This is why they're so diverse in what they do. They give you so many different looks.
And that's going to be on Houston there. Offsides for sure. Jacob Martin looking like he was the guilty party there.
Still third down. You know, the other thing I love about Buffalo's offense, how many times can you rush the passer when you're playing against them? Because there's Josh Allen back there. The numbers of pass attempts don't tell the story because he scrambles so much to either run or, even throw it down the field when he's in trouble.
Look at this. Buffalo Bills 2 backs in the backfield, 2 tight ends.
3rd and short.
Brian Dayball is going to pass out.
Big boy balls.
Why is that, Phil?
Because he had to get under center and run a quarterback sneak. Hey, but listen, they're not afraid. In week 1, Bill, I think all of us watched the Steeler game. How many quarterback draws did they run that day? So they're not afraid to put Josh Allen in running situations, that's for sure.
1st and 10 from the 21, and Bill, it looks like so far an even distribution between passing and running as far as Buffalo is concerned.
And I'm sure the weather has something to do with it. Right now, the last thing you need is a turnover. I think right now you don't beat yourself. The clock is on your side, and you still stay with who you are, as you can see with what they're doing. But you see the movement, you see a little bit of deception. But like we talked about, Nate, the simplicity of it is, okay, let's just throw a little screen out here. It's just like a running play.
Yeah, Coach, to your point, what we notice with the pre-snap movement is it gives Josh Allen an opportunity to recognize the defense. Yeah. Dawson Knox, he goes into motion. The linebacker doesn't travel all the way to the other side. So that tells you right there, let me give it to him. It's just like a run. You gain a handful of yards, and you move the ball.
When you watch this offense, everybody's got a little bit of a stake in it. So you have 7 different people who have caught passes. You have 2 running backs who have divided carries of 10 each and 45 and 46 yards each for Singletary and Moss. And then you also have the quarterback, Josh Allen, who's run the ball 5 times for 38 yards. Now look how methodical they have been on this particular drive alone. I mean,
in the red zone.
Run, pass, up the middle, in between the tackles. And, this team can get physical with you if they need to.
Yeah.
They can trick you if they need to. And they have one of the most athletic, durable quarterbacks who really legitimately is in the MVP conversation.
Why don't coaches, I don't want to say that, but when you watch the Buffalo offense, it's so diverse. Why don't we see this more with young quarterbacks? Easy passes, screens, run him a little here and all that. Haven't seen that much with some of the young quarterbacks, which I think that's how you should handle them.
So we are at the end of the 3rd period of play. Buffalo up 19-0 as they continue to move deeper. As we start the 4th quarter of play right now, Buffalo on top 19-0. Boomer Esiason, Nate Burleson, Coach Bill Cowher, Phil Simms. I'm James Brown. We're still experiencing technical difficulties at Orchard Park, so we're keeping you abreast of the action here. Phil.
Another little easy pass for Josh Allen, that time to Dawson Knox. I want to make this a little point about the Houston Texans. Bad weather, backup quarterback out there.
Right.
They played Jacksonville the opening game, beat them. They're playing great against Cleveland before they lose Tyrod Taylor, and I believe they would have beat the Carolina Panthers if Tyrod Taylor's in there. So David Culley's done a really good job of keeping the team organized. They played hard all preseason, and they played hard this year.
And on the flip side, let me take you to the locker room of the Bills. Sean McDermott is walking into the locker room telling his team, we're supposed to beat these guys, and by a lot. And you'll see Josh Allen take it in right here. This is going to be an easy run. Big, fast, strong as he steps out right before the goal line. But that's just it. As soon as he leaves the pocket, the reason defenses are in a difficult position because he has pass catchers down the field that are running not just the route that was called in the huddle, but the secondary scramble route. And then you have to worry about the big fella's legs.
Yeah. Justin Reed kept him out of the end zone. Justin Reed of Houston right now. Buffalo 0 for 4 in the red zone. So the D in the red zone of Houston has done the job.
Yeah, it was a good play by Justin Reed because he did not take the bait as Josh Allen was fake pumping it. But Phil, I am looking at this weather right now, and I'm thinking to myself, how miserable must it be for, well, not for Josh Allen because he's playing well, but for Davis Mills in this weather on the road, his second start as a rookie. It's like impossible to play in this weather.
But, Boom, we were talking about this during the commercial break. Oftentimes in our career, say your defense is going up against the Bills today. You see some rain, you're thinking to yourself, maybe this rain will slow down this Bills offense. Doesn't look like it today.
No.
Back with more. Back here, 3rd and goal is what the call was on the field. Josh Allen believing that he got to the pylon, Bill.
Yeah, you can see right there. It looks like he did get it across. I can see the challenge that takes place right there. Josh Allen just presents so many issues to a defense. You talk about his ability to run with the football, his ability to improvise when he's outside the pocket, and then all the multiple weapons that he has. And, for this defense of the Houston Texans, they've been out there all day. The offense has been able to do nothing in this rain. So now we're looking at I believe, a third down right here.
Yep, they're saying, Bill, that the call does stand. So it'll be 3rd and goal for Buffalo in this sequence here.
Well, you know why fans are going, why would you challenge it when it's so close? You're so close to the end zone. You know how many times we've all watched somebody not score from the half-yard line?
Yeah.
So if you think you've gotten in that end zone, if the coach thinks that, then you challenge it.
You know, the amazing thing for the Buffalo Bills here is their quarterback and how big he is. So many different options for them and Brian Daboll to go to down in this situation. That's what makes them so hard to defend in a situation like this, Coach.
This is a no-brainer. This is get up underneath the line of scrimmage, and it's called a quarterback sneak.
Yeah.
This is what you sit there and you look at your play call and you go, okay, sometimes let's not overthink this.
Yep.
Okay, let's get in the shotgun.
Two coaches end up spending 16 hours a day coming up with plays, so you might as well come up with something creative, right?
I think this will be a handoff right here. And overthrown in the end.
Oh, wow.
Well, you got to give Josh his touchdown pass.
Yeah.
Dawson Knox on the receiving end of that Josh Allen.
Yeah, but again, remember, Josh Allen's so difficult to defend. So what you try to do is put him in a situation where he can do multiple things.
Right.
And this could be an RPO. This could be a run by him. This could be a pass. Pull the ball right out of Moss's stomach right there. You see that? He reads that perfectly. And there's Knox standing there wide open. That's a perfect executed play by the quarterback at that moment.
When you think about the RPO near the line of scrimmage, you don't worry about linemen being across and into the end zone because they don't have to. So it's really the greatest option down there because you can really hold the ball for a long time and still throw the football without the worry of a lineman going down the field.
You know what they call that? That's a stat stuffer, baby.
And by State Farm. Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there.
Back here at a game in Orchard Park, Houston at Buffalo. Folks, just a reminder, technical difficulties there, so we in the studio are taking over the audio. You keep in mind, Nate, only 16 points that Buffalo scored in Game 1 against Pittsburgh. 104 points since, Nate. Go ahead.
Yeah, well, I guess they got their swagger back, that's for sure. When it rains, it pours. And right now, the Buffalo Bills, they're raining down on the Texans. Now, with all due respect, we have to talk about the Texans. And if I'm on this team as we're watching the replay of a play that's pretty much unstoppable, like we were all saying, he has an option to run it, to pass it. He can go to a wide receiver or Dawson Knox. Take a look at Dawson Knox, though, the patience. He's going to act as if he's blocking, and then he escapes to the flat, wide open. But getting back to the Texans, I've been in this situation before. I've been on teams that have struggled to get started. I've been on teams that have had a new head coach, a new quarterback. What are you playing for right now? Not just a logo on the side of your helmets, but also yourself. Every game is a resume, so you don't want to put any bad work out there on the field.
You know what? I've been on teams just like that, but I was the quarterback, and I felt the brunt of it pretty much the whole game.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
I understand where you're coming from, but you were like 25 yards away from the ball on the snap. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, you touch the ball every play.
Yeah, I see that, but I feel bad for, a second game starter who is a rookie.
Davis Mills.
And you cannot in any way, shape, or form prepare yourself for this particular environment that he's playing in right now.
But you know what, though? The other part of this for him is going to be that you can't substitute game experience and being an opportunity to run the 1-minute offense, to be able to be patient. Don't look at the scoreboard. Right now, it's just trying to develop some kind of continuity, some kind of confidence for the young man if he gets put in that situation again. So I like what they're doing, honestly, for the kid. Just go out there and play. I like Davis Mills when he came in last week, and this is tough circumstance. This is a good defense. This Buffalo defense is for real.
Yeah.
They've been doing this week in and week out.
Buffalo defense now matches their offense. They're aggressive right there in these couple plays for Davis Mills. They're going good. They're going to give you some short throws, but even into the short throw, you can see how fast that's Edmonds coming in. The middle linebacker.
And that's a fumble.
And that's a fumble, it looks like.
Yeah. I know they say you have to make a football move, but as he's spinning around trying to establish himself, he takes 2 or 3 steps. That ball is out.
You saw, they call it the peanut punch. Charles Tillman used to have it in Chicago. You see the second guy come in, and they punch at the ball. T.J. Watt from the Pittsburgh Steelers, very good at that. It's a technique now everybody's using around the league. So you hold on to that ball. If it gets any kind of space between your body and gets out there, people are going to punch that ball. You see it with their fists, and they're going right at the ball.
Coach, let me ask you something.
I was just
as we're looking at Buffalo getting the ball back, do you take your foot off the pedal, or do you just go out there and keep working on whatever you need to work on, and if that results in scoring points and embarrassing your opponent, you do that?
Well, you're talking to me. At this point, I'd put him under center and run the ball and just use the clock. The only reason I say use the clock, they should not be snapping this ball, in my opinion, when the clock is running to under 5 seconds. Only say from this standpoint, the less plays you have, the less risk of injury you have.
Right.
The more plays you run, the more you subject your players, your own players, to injury. So I think at this point, 17-game season, you have this kind of lead. You don't have to turn it on. You don't have to keep it going. You can do that.
Players love running up the score, though, Coach.
Yeah,
that's stats.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? Boom.
A reset of the table for the viewers again. That was the third Texans turnover of the game. Jordan Akins. He was knocked out of his hands by A.J. Klein.
Like it.
Mm-hmm.
I know
you do, Bill.
I just like he's under center. Listen, you've proven your point. You know what you can do. If you need to turn it on, you can turn it on. And they're going to run the football, work on your running game.
And I would think if they do throw it, it'll be very safe. Some type of screens, some type of quick throw.
But here's
Why?
the thing.
Because you don't want to put your quarterback
and here's the
at risk.
thing, and Phil, you and I talk about clock management for young coaches out there. There's only so many possessions. Then take this as maybe it's a 26-17 game, whatever it may be, 2-possession game. Take that clock to under 5 seconds. Minimize the amount of plays. The clock is your ally. You've worked to have this right now.
Right.
People don't do enough of utilizing the clock and the possessions that are left.
Yeah.
Right? So you can see him running it down right now. The clock right there in the lower part of your screen, under 5 seconds.
There you go, Coach.
Run the football. That's what you do. And that's why I love Sean McDermott. He gets it.
Listen.
It's exactly what they did on their last series. I want to spin it forward for a second because next Sunday night, these Bills are going to be visiting Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. And you take a look at their schedule moving forward, they're going to be favored in a lot of these games. It'll be interesting to see where that line comes out for next week. But, this is a team right now that has legitimate Super Bowl aspirations. And every year that this kid, Josh Allen, has been there, every year he has gotten better. And if there's a quarterback in this league that can go toe-to-toe, we just saw it last week with Justin Herbert and Patrick Mahomes, this kid can do the same thing, especially going on the road in Kansas City where you have to be the better quarterback in order to win that game.
We saw some sideline shots of Lovie Smith, the defensive coordinator there in Houston, trying to, again, get a system in place with the players. And just a reminder, again, Beth Mowens and Tiki Barber, the game announcers who you have been listening to up to this point, but we've got technical difficulties at the stadium there in Orchard Park, Highmark Stadium. So therefore, we're taking over to keep you abreast until we get those issues ironed out. Phil Simms, Coach Bill Cowher, Nate Burleson, Boomer Esiason, and yours truly, James Brown.
Well, Boom, let me put you on the spot, and I'll pose this question to our two quarterbacks here, Boom and Phil. You got Patrick Mahomes. We know what he can do. He's established right now as a young superstar, maybe the best of his era, the era that's coming up. If you need to start a franchise right now, you going with Patrick Mahomes or Josh Allen?
Or Justin Herbert, one of the three of those guys. And by the way, Joe Burrow and Trevor Lawrence look pretty good.
Not bad either, huh?
As well. And I would just say that the young quarterbacks in this league are going to be around for a long time, and there are going to be some great shootouts amongst those players. And you'll see right here, just watch what Josh Allen can do in so many different ways if Houston brings the blitz like they're bringing right now. Look at that touch. Look at that.
What, Bill?
That's it. They came with a full-out blitz, and that's the one thing that you go against Josh Allen. All the receivers and playmakers they have, it's.
But this is like retreating poise. Watch how he reads the blitz. He backs up a little bit. He avoids the rush. He knows where his intended receiver is going to be, and he just lofts it out there and allows Steph Diggs to run underneath it. And remember, this is in a driving rainstorm.
Yeah.
Right. And you know what I love?
Practicing that a few times, too.
I'm sure, yes.
It's the awareness on both sides. Of course, it's Josh Allen recognizing the blitz, retreating, delivering that ball. But Stephon Diggs catching that rock and knowing I'm about to take a shot and protecting the ball.
First and goal from about the 5 and there they have it, a touchdown. That 19-yard strike to Stephon Diggs sets up Mr. Barnes for the score. Zach Moss.
Yeah. This is the first time this year that the Houston Texans have been in this situation where, wow, they've really played hard the first 3 games, very organized. The defense has been extremely physical. They roughed up Sam Darnold the Thursday before, but now you're in this situation. Tough. You really got to, what's the word for it? Breathe in deep, find a way to keep playing hard.
You know, the morale of the team is going to be hurt simply because they know that they can't score on offense. And they're going against a team now that have scored 35 points, 43 points, and now 33 points in 3 consecutive weeks.
10 minutes left as well.
And that, again, coming off only the 16 in game 1. Back with more after this.
Completes 69% of his passes, 249 yards, 2 touchdowns. Not to mention he picked up 41 yards on the ground as well, including that electrifying 4th down sweep that you rarely see. Only 1-2, sitting at the bottom of the division for the first time in forever. The Tennessee Titans are also getting all they can handle from the New York Jets.
Bill Cowher and Phil Simms, yours truly, James Brown, narrating over the action that Beth Mowins and Tiki Barber had been calling, but technical difficulties, Boomer.
Yeah, there's no question that the Buffalo Bills are one of the premier teams in the AFC, JB, and they're showing it again now for 3 weeks in a row, scoring over 30 points. And their defense, as Phil was saying earlier, is basically loading up on a rookie quarterback in bad weather in front of 80,000 screaming fans. So it really lends itself to be a distinct advantage for the Buffalo Bills in a situation like this.
Yeah, they're doing exactly what they're supposed to. And even right now, 10 minutes left, 4th quarter, the defense is flying around like it's the first quarter, Coach. And that's why you can respect the squad, whether it's the first string or the backups. They're playing the same way all the way through.
Yeah. And again, I mean, Davis Mills, for him, a great learning experience, a great opportunity for him to get out there in game time. You know, and again, I think the most important thing, he indeed is going to be your quarterback for the rest of this year. I'm not sure, again, what Tyrod Taylor's situation is, but, you know, you just don't want him to lose confidence and subject him to a beatdown, so to speak. Not that he hasn't had one to this point, but, you know, he's moving around, making good decisions. Don't turn it over and protect yourself. Young man, go down. Good idea. It's only first down. You've got 2nd down coming up, so, you know.
And we were talking before the commercial break about playing with a sense of pride. Phil, you had brought it up. You know, what's setting in the mindset of the Houston Texans players? I would say resist the urge to approach the game where you think to yourself, I just don't want to get hurt. Let me get to the locker room. I just want to hop on the plane and get back home. Because when you're playing that way, sometimes injuries happen. And also, like I said before, every game is your resume. You do not want to put out bad tape.
No, but you know the old saying, keep your head on a swivel?
Yeah.
This is one of those games where you got to keep your head on a swivel because, you know, nobody's going to be crying for you.
This is true.
Everybody's coming after you. The Buffalo Bills going to be playing full on right now. They want plays, and as Phil was saying before, stat patterns.
Yeah.
You know, everybody wants that. Everybody wants sacks. Everybody wants breakups. Everybody wants interceptions.
Yeah.
And now's the time to go and get them if you're the Bills.
And I'm just saying, do not look at the scoreboard. And I'd pull them in. Don't look at the scoreboard. What we are doing right now is trying to take something into next week. Some degree of momentum on both sides of the ball. Yes, it's gotten away from us. It is what it is. But you want to finish this game with some degree of sense that, you know what, we're able to pull something positive from this game.
Right.
So to me, you don't try to play the scoreboard. Line up. If you want to get back to
play the
football, you know, control the ball, find a way to score. No one wants to get shut out in the National Football League. So that, to me, is right now the one thing you want to do.
Buffalo is not laying back.
Up top, Mills picked off.
Well, so much for that and momentum into next week because that's a momentum breaker right there. And, again, I can't reiterate enough just how difficult it is for a young quarterback to go against this defense in this environment.
That was Jaquan Johnson with the interception there. This Bills defense, the secondary this year, better than I've seen it in the previous couple years under Sean McDermott. And the big change of this football team is the defensive line. I think they fixed it. That was probably the weakest unit on the team last year. Not so now.
And it looks like we may have had the problems at that stadium ironed out. Beth Mowins and Tiki Barber have been the announcers for this contest here. And we'll pause for the announcement here and read lips. Personal foul, unnecessary roughness. So this is where we go back to the playbook, Nate, to see all the cartoons and illustrations that we've seen, right?
Yeah, it's good that you studied the guide, JB. You know the calls, that's for sure. And here it is. You'll see the interception. The Bills just adding to what is already a tremendous game.
On the other side.
Highmark Stadium at Orchard Park. Beth Bowens and Tiki Barber. We got our tool belts out, Tiki. We have a terrific crew here on site with us, and we got some technical difficulties figured out. We apologize for that. Not to mention, it sounded like the guys were having way too much fun in the studio.
JB and Nate and Boomer doing all double duty. Not sure they signed up for double duty today in a blowout game here. 33-0 Buffalo over Houston. Could be the second shutout for this Buffalo Bills defense. They're great. They know how to get after the passer. Yeah. Their secondary is fantastic. They obviously had some injuries over on that side of the ball. Jordan Poyer was out. Jaquan Johnson, who had his first start of his career, just intercepted the ball, turned over. It was their fourth turnover of the game. They were already leading the league in turnover differential. Now they're up to +7.
And now they hand it off to the offensive unit to see if they can work some clock here. It's a group that has now scored 110 points in their last 3 games. And they have turned to their backup quarterback, Mitchell Trubisky, here on this drive, as they continue to pound it out on the ground with Zach Moss and Devin Singletary.
Yeah, Devin Singletary there going for another big gainer. That puts him at 64 yards on the day, including what Josh Allen has done on the ground. 174 yards rushing for this Buffalo Bills team. We knew this would be a mutter type. I guess we can call it a turfing type. There's no mud down there. For this Buffalo Bills team, and whoever did it best was going to have the advantage. Clearly, that's Buffalo.
Singletary, some more good, tough yardage. Josh Allen, his day is done. 2 touchdown passes coming after his very first toss of the day, was intercepted. And he bounced back nicely, 20 for 29, and both strikes to Dawson Knox, the tight end, who now has 4 scores in the last 3 games.
Yeah, it looked like it was going to be ugly for Josh because of the weather. I mean, it was really driving rain when this game started. And he doesn't care about those things. He cares about winning. We ask him about his low completion percentage against Pittsburgh and against the Miami Dolphins. He says, I am not a PTR guy. We're like, what's PTR? He doesn't care about protecting his rating. Just wants to win, baby.
Yeah, when we talked to Brian Dable this week, so we want Josh to do a couple of things, make good decisions and get us in the end zone. Other than that, he knows quarterbacks are judged by their wins and losses, and they've done a terrific job with Ken Dorsey, the quarterback coach, building a system that is going to make him the most successful he can be.
And now we're getting a look at Mitch Trubisky, who, while not quite the athlete of Josh Allen, you saw him just skip around the edge for 8 yards and a first down, getting them just on the edge of the red zone.
Trubisky on the rollout. Gilliam out of the backfield. Down to the 15 and a yard shy after a 9-yard gain.
And look, at the end of the day, this doesn't necessarily matter for film study on Monday, these last couple of drives for the Buffalo Bills, but it is important to finish games the right way. In a 4-minute offense, my favorite offense in football, you run the ball, you do easy completions like we just saw to Gilliam, and keep the ball in your possession so you don't give the other team a chance. Now, Houston doesn't have a chance in this game, but practice when you can practice. And even if it's in the middle of the game, you keep that mentality tight.
Singletary still churning down inside the 5. He and Moss have been playing off of each other so well through the first month of the season.
Yeah, you're right. Last season, there were some struggles in the run game. They still had a good per carry average. But this year, in particular, they've been driving each other. 79 yards now for Devin Singletary. Zach Moss, 61, but he has a touchdown. You know Devin wants his at this point.
Yes, the team rushing numbers now close to 200 on the day. And doing it, showing their depth along the offensive line. They had 3 guys move around pregame. They had to then adjust to the Deion Dawkins injury in-game. And they've been leading the charge, and it's going to be Mitchell Trubisky with the touchdown run for Buffalo.
Mitchell Trubisky just play fake. When you have such a stout running game at this point, all Houston is trying to do is save some pride, sell out the stop the run. Athletic quarterbacks have taken over the NFL. And Mitchell Trubisky easily walks into the end zone. Nobody on that side of the ball. Not even sure that was a pass. It was just a design boot. Whatever happens, happens.
His first score as a Buffalo Bill after coming over from the Chicago Bears. And the extra point is good, 40-0. Buffalo in a rout this afternoon over Houston. As he leads Buffalo on a 7-play, 53-yard scoring drive, just over 4.5 minutes. And we've got 3:36 to go. So they have this one in hand to avenge their wild card loss to the Texans. And then after getting into the AFC Championship game last year, their other loss in the postseason, the Kansas City Chiefs, and they are on deck. Patrick Mahomes just guiding Kansas City to his 4th touchdown pass to Tyreek Hill. It's 35-23, under 5 to go against Philly.
Yeah, that's a tough Philly team. Jalen Hurts is going to fight. He's been a winner at every level. High school, obviously at Alabama. He transfers to Oklahoma, leads the Sooners in rushing and in passing. 2nd-round pick. We know the disruption that happened at the end of last season, but Jalen Hurts has been a winner every step of the way, so they're going to fight, but Kansas City is just a little bit too much for them. The biggest surprise of the day, though, might be the Tennessee Titans struggling with the New York Jets right now.
Could be Zach Wilson's first win.
Could be, down 7. Tennessee Titans with 7 minutes to go in that game. So
we got more football coming your way next year on CBS. Game 2 of the doubleheader. Most of you will head to Lambeau. Aaron Rodgers and Big Ben, Pittsburgh and Green Bay. That's coming up next right here on CBS. The story this afternoon in Orchard Park, the offense throwing the shutout. They have produced 4 takeaways, leading to 24 points off of turnovers. As if the Buffalo offense needed any assistance.
No, they did not at all.
Yeah. That was after they had struggled to get red zone touchdowns. They had to settle for red zone field goals in that first half. And as we switch our attention now to the Houston Texans side, obviously they knew they were up against it. Tough place to play, great defense today, but no points on the board, and the total yardage number now just 75 on the day.
Yeah, 45 rushing yards, only 27 passing yards, and Brandon Cooks being taken out of this game for the most part has been the biggest issue for this Houston Texans team. Give a lot of credit to Tre'Davious White, who was tasked with traveling with Brandon Cooks.
So he took out Terry McLaurin last week,
offense,
right?
number 78. 10-yard penalty. He sent down.
That's on Laramie Tunsil, backing him up. And this has really been the story of the Houston Texans. It's mistake after mistake. Execution hasn't been pristine, and as a result, a very good, already very good, you could say borderline great, Buffalo Bills defense this season is taking advantage of it.
Mills drops it off underneath to his tight end, Pharaoh Brown.
And Mills is just trying to feel good about himself. This game is obviously in the tank already. It's next week. He's got to continue to think about getting better. Not until week 6 will they be able to pull Tyrod Taylor off of the IR, short-term IR, obviously with a hamstring injury. And so Davis Mills has at least another start.
They will be home against the Patriots next week. course, New England hosting the Bucs and Tom Brady tonight. Mills downfield for Cooks, and it's busted up. Knocked loose by Damar Hamlin. And a secondary that has adjusted well after the loss of Jordan Poyer, out today with an ankle injury.
Yeah, you're right. The secondary had Jaquan Johnson started for Poyer. He had an interception. Micah Hyde is now resting on the sideline. Damar Hamlin makes a big play on a ball downfield. Intended for Brandon Cooks, but it hangs up there just a little bit too long. Easy play for the defender. But Smart trying to just knock it down.
And the Texans considering...
Timeout, Houston. This is the first of the half. This is a 30-second timeout.
Going forward here on 4th down, they'll take the timeout to discuss. A lot of hugs on the Bills sideline. The largest win in franchise history. 42-0 against Cleveland back in 1990. So this is the second largest. We see is Stephon Diggs.
Coming into this game, we knew that the Buffalo Bills were the better team, and we kept talking about the trap game that this could be, especially given the weather, some of the uncertainty around this Houston Texans offense. Kansas City Chiefs are prime time next weekend, Sunday Night Football. It's easy to look past a team that's struggling. When your team is supposed to be as good as the Bills are, you do exactly what you did today.
Yep.
You beat up inferior opponents and make it no doubt.
4th down, Texans. Mills caught out to the 40. Brandon Cooks and a first down.
Yeah.
And that'll take us to the 2-minute warning in Orchard Park. All Buffalo on a rainy afternoon in western New York.
This is the 2-minute warning.
Well, the rain slowed down Buffalo briefly to start, but as you can see by the scoreboard, can't hold Josh Allen down for long. And the Bills have posted a 40 spot on the Texans. Final 2 minutes for Houston. Try and prevent their first shutout loss in 5 years.
And nobody wants to be shut out, so even though this game's a foregone conclusion, they're still fighting here. David Johnson trying to get some positive yardage, gets a first down there across midfield. Brandon Cooks on the previous play, a big 3rd down, 4th down conversion.
Meanwhile, on the other side, you know those Bills starters are yelling at the backups right now. Hey, come on.
No doubt about it.
Preserve the shutout. They're looking for their 2nd of the season. And it's intercepted. 5th takeaway of the ball game, Tyler Matakevich. And a smile on the face of Josh Allen.
Here's a tip drill for you once again. There is a penalty marker on the field in the area of illegal contact or holding. We'll see what it comes down to, but this has been the Achilles heel today for the Houston Texans. They just can't hold on to the football. Obviously, they can't get first downs either, but...
There is no foul on the play. It's Buffalo's ball, 1st and 10.
There you go. No foul on the play. Davis Mills is trying to hit his tight end. It's thrown to the wrong side. Farrell Brown needs to throw that ball to the outside so he can keep moving with it. Instead, he tips it right into the arms of Matakevich.
And it's victory formation time for Buffalo. And Allen.
Another donut, that's what he says.
Enjoying that moment.
Now the question is, who buys, I don't know, what is it? It's not Dunkin' up here, but whatever the donut is.
Tim Hortons.
Tim Hortons, there you go. Who's bringing all the Tim Hortons on Monday?
The Timbits. A lot of positives, obviously. Some other things to work on. For Buffalo, they will improve to 3-1. Houston will fall to 1-3 on the campaign.
Anytime you put 40 on the board, you got to feel good about yourself.
And how do you think Bills Mafia will be reacting this week? Getting ready for Patrick Mahomes in Kansas City in prime time next week.
Yeah, they got a Obviously, that's on the road, and it's Sunday night. I wouldn't be surprised if some of this Bills Mafia decides to head out to Arrowhead. I would. I'd feel good about this team.
Don't forget, we've got bonus coverage. NFL on CBS coming your way. Final seconds tick off the clock. 40-0 Buffalo over Houston. Now let's go to James Brown in New York for the NFL Today update.
All right, so the Buffalo Bills, third straight win. We take you now to Tennessee at the New York Jets. Join the announcers Greg Gumbel, Adam Archuleta, and A.J. Ross.
Here in the second half.
Chester Rogers back inside his own 10.